I think I have given a short presentation of some of the things that I have intuited about the Magician's Jewel and how I came to make it and where we are so far. Something that I think I did not really explain properly, and we did talk about it, is that these, what I'm calling the 5 lights, really we're talking about subtle energy. We've got a toroidal field with these 2 crystals inside of it, like this.
Is that the 5 light?
Yeah, I'm calling it the 5 lights.
Because I see 4 colors.
Yeah, 4 colors. Actually, the 5 lights means the central part, meaning these 5 colors. Yeah, and the central part is always representing the space, which is the heart. So we've got a smaller toroidal field up here. We've got a larger toroidal field here, and we've got again a smaller toroidal field here. And when you were making the lunch, I showed on the computer the Vajra, the shape of the Vajra. When you add the toroidal fields to the equation, you actually have this real sense of it being a Vajra, or being a kind of symbolic representation of a Vajra. So just to clarify, imagining there's a toroidal field here, a larger toroidal field in the center, and a smaller toroidal field here. Really what I want to do now is to open up and invite comments, questions, which I can't promise to be able to answer, but I can give it a go. And how you, any one of you, feel that we can push ahead, even starting to think about making a prototype of this. We've got this model, which of course is just a symbolic representation of the layout of it, but it's not to measurement, it's not to size, it's not to shape, to angle. So many things of this are not actually precisely understood yet as to how we can make this art installation piece into also a running device that, as I've explained in my presentation earlier, that we want to be able to be affecting the energy fields which are in a certain radius around the piece, the device, the installation, and how this may come about. So please, as you have your comments, do speak up.
Well, as purely a layman in this area, no, it's intriguing, and the actual installation of it is kind of where my questions are centered. I mean, is it something envisioned open to the elements? I'm assuming it's an outdoor installation.
This is also a question, could be.
And whether or not it would be a standalone type of installation, like out in nature or in a park, like you mentioned the park, or associated with corporate site, you know, like around here, like a Google or an Apple, part of their campus.
Could be.
Or even a university. One of the things you mentioned was the interaction with people coming on and kind of that being initiation of motion or some kind of movement. You talked about the pattern walking and how that would trigger something. So in my mind, I was wondering, is that the only time it would be in motion, or would it be a constantly moving thing, or would there be some, not necessarily motorized, but some, you know, natural way that keeps it in rotation or keeps it active? I mean, those are all things that kind of intrigue me about it.
Well, the only way I can give the answers to those questions is by testing it when we have the potential to do so. So yeah, you're right, it could be that there's a mechanism in place that creates that movement. But you see, something that I've always felt intuitively and sort of know that it is true is that a device like this should be able to somehow take the energy from the space, or through movement and sound and other things, and work, rather than plugging it in at the wall.
Oh, right.
And making it like use some external form of electricity or some other form of energy.
Right.
It should be a way that it is sort of self-generating.
Exactly.
And I do believe that's possible in a way through movement, through sound, through the elements, through whatever, that we can create this kind of machine.
I mean, it definitely intrigued me, but the size of it is something that would be, you know, kind of, it'd be awe-inspiring, if nothing else. And in terms of the energy field or fields, I was wondering if whatever quote unquote safety measures that might have to be, might have to accompany it would impede or otherwise detract from its fields or detract from what it's supposed to be emanating. Because when you talked about escalate, people going up and stuff like that, and ordinances are going to come into play at some point, you would think.
Well, in America, at least.
Right. So yeah, you're right. It doesn't have to happen in America, but to be an American, that's one of the things that have certain bureaucracies. Right? Exactly. But apart from that, I mean, it's intriguing.
I'm not sure that it does go outside though. It could be in a large hangar of sorts. I mean, one has to think of, say, maybe Turbine Hall, Tate Gallery, London. Do you know?
Yeah. I was thinking there's a hangar
Yeah.
like there by Google
Oh, yeah?
that's been there forever. It was a Zeppelin hangar because it had asbestos in it. They pulled the panels off it, but they didn't destroy it. I was thinking a geodesic dome over the whole thing.
Oh,
Voltaic.
wow, that's a beautiful idea. So
With
Buckminster
solar-
Fuller kind
Yeah,
of.
exactly. Buckminster Fuller. And then the panels on the dome could be
He would have liked
solar
that.
powered, energy from the sun.
With a movable top.
It
with
should
a
be
movable
able to
top,
open.
open and close.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow, I love it.
Think of the roof in the British Museum. It's just those kind of great arching panels that are, is it glass, right?
There was a place actually out in Arkansas. It's like a sort of open air museum thing. I was invited to potentially be involved in a project there, but then it just sort of went dead.
Or even something like the Navy Pier in Chicago. It's kind of like a standalone part of the city. It's off the water though.
The question is its size. I mean, it could be that there's a master one, let's call it resonator, and then there are many other. In fact, this is what Samuel Managic was saying in Bosnia. He said you build one and you have many small ones all over the ley lines across the world. But the place and the position is one thing, and a very important thing, because if we can put let's say the master one onto a sacred energy spot, that is where ley lines come together, then we can potentially use the natural earth grid to carry the energy across to many places. Yeah, place is a big question. Outside, inside, and where? Is somebody going to give us a space, or are we going to have to buy a space? I mean, these are details.
Yeah.
My thoughts for you would be, what would you envision like the virtual reality piece of this?
Yeah.
Augmented reality.
I mean, she talked about headphones, but when you think of virtual reality, I think it would also encompass some kind of vision technology as well. And I mean, it could be a fully immersive thing, leading people on a certain path.
It's meant to be fully immersive and interactive process. You start in the park, you go to the underneath, you go up the spiral, you are in the top in the chamber, then you come down and you enter into the black spiral. When you enter into the black spiral, the augmented reality process starts. When you're in the centerpiece, it's virtual reality. When you come out in the white spiral, is augmented reality.
Right, but I'm thinking, and from a technical point of view, of leading people on some kind of journey in that space.
This is the story of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, taking them through the stages of existence. You're alive, you're in sleep, you're in meditation, so you have that experience, and then you're going to die. The first augmented reality experience is taking you through the process of death, according to the Tibetan Book of the Dead.
Right.
And then the process of meeting your essence in the Bardo of reality. Again, that's the largest section of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, meeting your true essence. And so that will be a virtual reality experience in the central place, the dodecahedron there in the center. And then becoming means taking on a physical body is the white spiral. So there are steps. And each of these steps is like an octave of harmonic resonance, because they each correspond in number to the amount of tones or semitones in an octave.
Right.
So really what we've got here is actually an example. This whole structure is one keynote. This is really corresponding to the octaves of harmonic resonance.
Mm-hmm.
Each stage, the Bardo of living, sleep, meditation, dying, reality, becoming, back to the Bardo of life again. You've got an entire cycle with these 8 keynotes. each doorway you go through is a keynote, and each keynote opens up into an octave, and each octave expands into more octaves. We've got a fractal here.